Hey Trinity family, it's Pastor Paul with my weekly Friday update, and this week I invited David Cannistraci to come and be with me as lead elder, so that he and I could just kind of talk through in front of you all the decision that was made for suspending last Sunday's in-person worship, and just wanted to kind of talk through why we made that decision and some of the factors that we took into consideration. First, let me just, before David kind of shares how what led to the decision, let me just first say the main question I've been asked in recent days is, are we going to do it again? Are we going to suspend worship this coming Sunday? First answer is no suspension of Sunday worship in person for this coming Sunday. We're going to be back in person for sure. So if this is all you're listening to, hear that. Please join us this Sunday for worship. But Dave, just kind of share a little bit, like what led to that decision being made, which we read last Sunday.
Yeah. Well, as all of you, well, a lot of you probably know, last week there was an uptick with the positivity rate with the COVID virus, and as the week went on, we were hearing from members of the church family that were also testing positive, and so um, by the time the weekend came, we saw some of the members who were involved with the Sunday morning service in person, um, and then just we had to make a decision. Um, and
Yeah, no, and with that, right? I know during the week, Brad Willie, well, shout out to Brad. He was calling around to a bunch of folks. We had heard a number of folks had contracted COVID, and so he was calling to check in,
Sure.
see how they're doing. Julianne and I, we at first we tested negative. We thought it was just a bad cold, but tested again later in the week. Turned out to be positive for COVID. So that was just kind of rolling along through the course of the week, and then Saturday we were in touch with each other, the four of us as elders, and just asked the question: should we suspend? In part because of the spread, also in part, as you just said, because a number of key people, myself included, had contracted COVID. Sunday was my first day, according to CDC guidelines, first day where I could come out from isolation, quarantine. But there were others who were also affected. Julianne was not allowed out until Monday at the earliest. So we were wondering, is this the, would it just be prudent to make this decision and suspend in-person worship because we've got live streaming as an option? Um, yeah. With that, though, we made the decision. We put the email out on Saturday, and since then we've been talking about it as elders. How do we feel about that decision? There is still a sense that in the moment, based on the data that we had and the time crunch that we were in, um, it was the decision that we made. And yet, I think we want you all to hear that decision was a departure from decisions that we had made in the past regarding COVID. And what I mean with that is, in the past, we were always following our commitment as elders had always been follow the CDC guidelines and or state of Vermont guidelines, restrictions or mandates, whatever it was. And this was the first time that there was no mandate. There were no guidelines. Uh, what does a church do when you see it was a good 20 people that I knew of who had COVID, and so we made the call that we did. In hindsight, I can see that it was a departure from the way that we had made decisions in the past. In that, in the past, we had always said options, right? It was kind of your word, give people options. So we didn't give options. We just made the decision. And going forward, I think uh, going forward with things pertaining to COVID, especially, um, I want to give options. But going forward, I also want to move beyond COVID, right? Because and just kind of always be about giving options, always be about seeking wise counsel. It's something that I think we all value. And to the point that you made, David, about we were seeing key people involved in Sunday morning service who were impacted by COVID, and so weren't going to be available Sunday morning, which in many ways is also just a reminder to everybody in the church family that we really value when folks step up and involved in ministry, the in ways that make sure that we have a big enough pool, if you will, to draw from for ministry. Worship arts team is wonderful with limited numbers. The tech team, wonderful, limited numbers. So, in other areas of ministry, as I often say, we as a church punch above our weight. So, but I'd love to see more folks engaged in punching, if you will, involved in ministry, so that when things like this happen, we can we can make sure that the holes are being filled with others in the church. Anything else to add to this?
No, we just really wanted to bring some clarity as to the decision that was made, and hope that there wasn't too much confusion and frustration from that decision.
Yeah, our heart, and I just want you all to hear as well from me, from David, from Kevin, Brad, us four as elders, and I'd say the whole leadership team. It's we love Trinity. we love this church that God has entrusted to us as leaders. So some of our decisions are made in ways that, in hindsight, we kind of think it through differently. But I just want you all to hear that we made the decision on Saturday really out of a heart that wanted to love well and lead well for Trinity. And we're continuing to grow, even in that, in our leadership, in our involvement, and we just ask that you extend grace to us, love us well in return, and pray for us as we seek to lead. All that to say, looking forward to worshiping this coming Sunday. This coming Sunday is Communion Sunday, so we will once again be able to celebrate our unity in Christ and what He has done for us. Going to be looking at what it means to believe the Bible, the fact that we believe the Bible. I hope you are having engaging conversations with folks about what it is that you believe as we move through this series of Wait, You Believe What? And hopefully engaging folks with this. Love ya. Take care. Look forward to worshiping with you on Sunday.